For those searching for the best in music, Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys offered some sound advice back in 1941.
Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry. Take me back to Tulsa, I'm too young to marry.
The most iconic of Oklahoma's live music venues, Cain's Dance Academy was then known as the home of Bob Wills, as during the Great Depression, radio station KVOO broadcast Wills' music daily, spreading its hopeful tone to reaches as far-flung as California and even Hawaii. Rebranded Cain's Ballroom in 1977, the ownership at that time began booking nationally touring bands from popular genres. So when you look at the walls in the office today, you are bound to be surprised a time or two. Though it was a 1978 concert by British punk rock band The Sex Pistols that redefined Cain's and opened a new chapter in its story. This was number 6 of 7 shows played by the controversial band in the United States. After the show, Sid Vicious is said to have put his fist through the wall. This wall. One more piece of history maintained and honored by the Rogers family, who purchased this registered landmark in late 2002.
We knew at that time we were going to need to put a lot of money into the place and needed it. So we shut down in May of 2003 and renovated it all summer and reopened on October 1st with Dwight Yoakam, a sold-out show.
Chad Rogers and his brother Hunter serve as general managers at Cain's.
People were very concerned, I remember, during the renovations, because, just bringing it up to code was in itself a huge task. I mean, all new plumbing, all new electrical, fire suppression system, just things that the building had never had central heat and air.
But the real controversy came a few years later, when the Rogers finally had to make the decision to replace the aging dance floor.
People didn't realize underneath here it was just basically a pit and dirt down there underneath. So it dropped down about 1.5 feet and it was all just like dirt.
The 80-year-old floor was lauded for its springiness, but revered for the thousands of first dances, first kisses, first moments that had happened here.
Yeah, the old owner, Cain's, I remember when we bought Cain's, he said to us, man, there are going to be people that tell you that there were marriages and divorces made on that floor, and probably plenty of other things. But it's been a couple years ago, but we had a couple stopped in. They were traveling across the U.S. and they were in their late 80s. And they stopped in and they said, we met here, 60-something years ago. And they were like, out here walking around, and so all of a sudden I turned on the star up here and the mirror ball, and I look out here later and they were underneath there kind of dancing and kissing, and it was like, man, my heart just melted. I mean, it's just really cool.
So how do you honor a bit of 80-year-old tongue and groove flooring that has laid witness not only to musical greats, but to the cherished memories of a community as well?
You figure there's 80 years of just wax and gunk that was down in the crevices of this flooring. So to get a good strong glue joint, I've got to get all of that cleaned out.
Roger Cowan has always been a maker.
When I decide I want to do something, I'm typically not terribly fearful about what if I mess up, because my philosophy is if somebody else does this, then I can too. If a person makes it, well, I'm a person, I should be able to do it as well.
That can-do attitude led to Roger building his first guitar from scrap wood, from the site of a historic church, and upcycled military surplus items. From there, he formed a company called Dog Tire Guitars, and has gone on to make incredible instruments, including this one, for brothers Bo and Bear Reinhardt of Need to Breathe.
I friggin' love it. It's awesome. Crushed it.
For me, the whole point behind Dog Tired is to tell stories.
Which is the motivation for Roger's Heritage series of guitars.
What I'm doing is I'm finding one structure in each county in Oklahoma. I'm going to build one guitar out of that structure. And then it's going to come with sort of a full history and a certificate of authenticity and all kinds of cool stuff. I didn't have the intention to just seek out historical buildings to build from. My original idea was to just find random old structures and build out of that so that I could tell a story that's not really been told before. For me to do some research and find out, you know, the family that owned that place and their stories. And that's what I want to do, is just add color to sort of what's already known about the state history. Yeah. Yeah. Of course, I wasn't going to turn down wood from Cain's, though. You know.
The idea to build from this wood came from a friend with an eye on the value of music education.
So we had an idea of maybe building a guitar to auction off or raffle off for Tulsa Public Schools music education. So I'm building 2 guitars for Cain's, one for the Tulsa charity, and then one will be my Tulsa County Heritage Series guitar.
In the past, we did some picture frames with the old wood floor, but now having actually music instruments that someone's going to be playing, that 80-something years of people walking on this thing, and now you're playing it, is really cool. And it's really cool. We're excited.
Which is exactly the inspiration Roger Cowan is looking for.
This stuff is just so, so much character. And as you can see, you know, 80 years of dents and dings and refinishes, and so, you know, each one of the little scrapes gets more and more wax added in, so it gets darker than the rest of it. And it's just, it's not that I don't like perfection, but I have a much bigger appreciation, I think, for the imperfections.
And that is the story of Cain's. The perfect notes blended with the sour, the laughter mixing with the tears, the classic, the modern, the uniquely Oklahoman, all coming together as one, soon to be enshrined in these guitars.